involved. In the case of Libya, we went after Gaddafi with NATO. We provided weapons. What happened in Benghazi at that CIA, it wasn't an embassy, it wasn't a hospital, it was a CIA operation. Chris Stevens, the ambassador, obviously had two hats. He wore two hats. He was yes, the U.S. ambassador. It also looked like he was some sort of CIA guy trying to arrange for weapons transfers from Libya to Syria, and it was a weapons deal. And, if you're a mercenary and you're an ambassador who also wants to be a mercenary army, smuggling, when you get killed, that's what happens to mercenaries. I don't shed any tears over Mississippi Ambassador Stevens. No. He basically gave up any pretenses he had to being a diplomat a long time ago. And there's a lot of other U.S. ambassadors who are very much interventionist like he was. And look, you want to play those games, you want to not be a diplomat, you want to be a mercenary warlord or support warlords, you get whacked. Hey, sorry, that's the way it goes.
Well said.
I'm not putting my flag at for them when they get killed.
Yeah, well said, Wade. We got about 5 minutes, I think. I know you only had about a half hour, and I thank you for your time already. So I'm going to try to get to just real quick. What's your take on Russia and Ukraine? And then I have one more fan question I think you'll get a laugh at, and I wouldn't mind either, but we'll get to that next. So first, what's your take on Russia and Ukraine? Are we poking the bear?
Right, we just had this Ukrainian parliamentary election where Poroshenko, the president, who basically was installed. His party came in first. This guy Yatsenyuk, who I suggest is a Scientologist, denies it. His family denies it. His supporters deny it. And most of all, the neocons deny it. If they're denying it, it means it's true because they fully know how to lie. That's the neocons, and that's how they're brought up. That's how they're been trained. The Russian-speaking people, not in many of those areas that declared independence, because they're going to hold their own elections, but those who are in the south and in the southwest of Ukraine, so this is Odessa, and other parts of the rest from Ukraine, their votes really didn't count because those who voted for the Ukrainian Communist Party, that party was banned, so those votes don't count anyway. Other Russian-speaking parties, they were also declared illegal. So this is what would have happened had those areas of eastern Ukraine not seceded. They would have just nullified their votes. They would have said your parties are illegal. They can't serve in the legislature. The people that are running Ukraine right now are neo-Nazis and Ukrainian Israeli oligarchs like Igor Kolomoisky. So we have the Nazis and the Zionists together. That's also an old alliance. It goes back to 1934 when V.F. Jabotinsky, the head of the Zionist movement, was allowed to transfer to Palestine under something called Havara, or the transfer agreement. It was such a German mint struck a coin. On one side is the Star of David, on the other side is the swastika.
Wow.
This is history with people like Dave Foxton from the ADL doesn't want out there. If anyone thought that, the guy who made genetic, I try to tell people, just put Dave Foxton and these people in the Southern Poverty Law Center, Marcy's, and all these people, just close your ears to them. Ignore them. They will go away. Yes, they're influential, but they're just squeaky wheels that need to be, oiled and just ignored. This is history. This is what's going on. They don't want this known to the general public. I've written a book linking the Saudis and the Israelis. They're going to say it's a conspiracy theory. They're going to say they already are. But I just ignore them. It's a question of mind over matter. People have to learn. It's mind over matter. They got to say, I don't mind, and they don't have.
I like that one. The fan question was, so this is the last one, and then I'll let you go, Wayne. But Well, how about you running for office? They want Wayne Madsen running for president 2016. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I actually did play with run for Congress back in 2004. I have to say that you have to compromise. First of all, it takes money. It's estimated that if Hillary Clinton runs, and I expect she will, that she's going to throw $1.7 billion into the next campaign. That's not counting the 527 tax, the political activity. The stuff that's allowed, the dark money that's allowed in campaigns now as a result of the Citizens United decision by the Supreme Court. We could actually have her alone spending on her behalf $3 billion. I mean, this is obscene.
Wow.
This kind of money. So, I appreciate people that say, they'd like to be the run, but if they could find some deep-pocketed real American out there who isn't bought and paid for other interests, who could come up with that kind of money, I'd certainly think about it, but it would be a quixotic effort to even think about.
So it's on the table. Oh, it's on the table.
Right.
That's great news, though.
You need to have, there's no good versions of Sheldon Adelson out there who owns casinos who could, really support a person for president who's not bought and paid for by domestic and foreign interests.
That's why the grassroots movement has to step up on this one. Let's get Wayne Madsen in office in 2016.
Well,
him or Jesse Ventura or somebody real, at least.
Yeah, I think there's people who would be willing to do it, but they look at the money involved and they just say, and then of course, then they go through your, if you run for federal office, of course, the Federal Election Commission will go through all of your personal details, probably every bank account you had back to when with a passbook account where they actually debited, little passbook you took to the bank. They probably have copies of all that, go through all that. So, yeah, it's a tough thing to run for any office, especially the highest office in the land, because people pay for it these days. We never get today, somebody like Harry Truman, who really had a lot of money. He was an architecture in Missouri and Kansas City. We certainly wouldn't get a Calvin Coolidge or no people like that. It's just telling you that you'd have to get, somebody with a lot of money. The last guy that actually tried to do it was Ross Perot. He almost did it, but he pulled out because the Bush people decided to go dirty on it. So,
that scared the system more than anything. That's why I'd love to see you or someone else, run and give them a shot, give a chance, because I think the people are getting upset, and they, you might not win, but that makes room for, the next election, in my eyes.
Well, that's right. And so I recently met with some people who tried to bring the Occupy movement together with the Tea Party, and it's a good idea because there's a lot more they have in common than opposed. They have a social issue, and it's just that there was just all kinds of opposition because those movements, of course, have been penetrated by those who did not want any sort of court.
I know you're kind of tight on time, and I'd love to have you on again in the near future if you wouldn't mind for a full hour.
Okay.
Get the picture of this in 2016. Well, him or Jesse Ventura or somebody real, at least.
Yeah, I think there's people who would be willing to do it, but they look at the money involved and they just say, and then of course, then they go through your, if you run for federal office, of course, the Federal Election Commission will go through all of your personal details, probably every bank account you had back from when with a passbook account where they actually debited, little passbooks you took to the bank. They probably have copies of all that, go through all that. So, yeah, it's a tough thing to run for any office, especially the highest office in the
system more than anything. That's why I'd love to see you or someone else, like, you know, run and give them a shot, give a chance, because I think the people are getting upset, and they, you know, you might not win, but that makes room for, you know, the next election in my eyes.
Right. And so I recently met with some people who tried to bring the Occupy movement together with the Tea Party, and it's a good idea because there's a lot more they have in common than both the social issues, and it's just that there was just all kinds of opposition because those movements, of course, have been penetrated by those who did not want any sort of cooperation, because that was the government was absolutely feared of.
Yeah, of course, and that, like you said, they do have a lot more in common than they have differences between one another.
Right.
But yeah, Wayne, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're kind of tight on time, and I'd love to have you on again in the near future if you wouldn't mind for a full hour.
Okay.
Get to pick your brain a little longer. I have so much more to ask you, but thank you so much for joining The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction with Pete Wichert, and have a safe journey.
Okay, thanks very much. Good to be here.
All right. Good pleasure to have you. God bless, Wayne. All right, that was Wayne Madsen. Support him. Check out his website, Wayne Madsen.